Yeah, here we go. I see some creepers in the audience. Please hold your explosions until later. All right, so we're going to start with introducing ourselves. I'm going to start with Jeff all the way over the end of there.
Hi guys, my name is Jeff Pease, and I'm the founder of Derpcraft Media, and I am staff on chosencraft.com.
Hi, my name's Aaron. People usually call me Mumble RIT. I run Mutt's World 9.
I'm Woody, also known as Woody's Gamertag, and I run a server called woodycraft.net.
My name is Guus. I'm from the Netherlands. I am a head builder of Witchcraft.
Hello, I'm Steve, also known as Shmras. I am the owner of Witchcraft MC.
Hey guys, I'm Morgan, otherwise known as Killer Pony, and I'm one of the head admins on Witchcraft. So, we're going to start with a couple questions. So, Steve, what got you into Minecraft?
I had a friend that was playing Minecraft, and I heard this music, and I was like, wow, that's really interesting. I've never seen a game with that type of music, and then I heard the sounds of the mobs, and I was like, this is odd. So I bought a copy of it, and I was like, this brings back some memories of Legos and other things, and it was a lot of fun.
Who's?
Well, a friend of mine introduced me to the game, and after a couple of rounds of single player, you want to do a multiplayer game, so get into servers. And after that, you want to start your own.
Yeah, I see the theme here. It's all about friends. I didn't like Minecraft before I played it. I thought it sucked, and I thought it was ugly. And I had a good friend who's such an awesome guy. I'd wait in line at the DMV with him. So when he says, Woody, let's do this, I was down. And then I got addicted like anybody else.
Minecraft for me, it was really about trying to find. I was trying to get my brother to play with me, and it was kind of I wanted to learn how to play with Linux a little bit, and but nobody wanted to play with me. So I kind of had to get my name out there and get people on there before anybody would play Minecraft with me. So that's kind of why I made my Minecraft server.
So I got a 16-year-old little brother who loves Skrillex, and Skrillex got him into Minecraft, and he's like, Jeff, come on, let's play this Minecraft game. And I'm like, all right, I got some time. And then, I just played with him, and we just started our pathway to doing what we're doing now.
Me personally, I got dragged into it by a friend, and as soon as you could say, like, Minecraft, I was addicted. And now I'm here. So, hello, everyone. All right. So, Woody, how did you start your server?
Oh, I didn't know we were jumping around. But yeah, so let's see. Administrator, a Minecraft admin came to me and said, hey, Woody, I think we can do something big here. If you people don't know, I have a YouTube channel with, I don't know, a million some subscribers. And they were like, hey, if we put your promotional background next to a Minecraft server, it could be big, and it is.
Actually, I was part of a server, and I started building, and I was like, I could kind of do that differently, and build that differently, and add a few other things. So I was like, I want to start my own server. So we gave it a shot.
All right, so guys, what were some common problems that you encountered when you first started off the server? Like, how did you overcome them? So I guess, Woody.
You looking at me?
I'm looking at you.
Yeah, so in running a Minecraft server, I could go on forever. The biggest, in life, the big problems are medical and emotional, right? Everything else, money solves, right? Broken cars, burnt down houses, all that stuff is no big deal. In a Minecraft server, the big problem is always emotional. It's working with the staff. It's having helpers that always represent the server the way you want it represented. It's having plugin developers that are as enthusiastic about the game mode as you are. It's having guys who are loyal to the server and want to put its best foot forward. A lot of times people are really motivated right up until the point where they get a staff position, and then they've won, and they kind of retire. Whereas from my standpoint, it's like, no, this is where the work just starts. The hardest part about running a Minecraft server, it's not technical, it's not financial, it's none of that stuff. It's having the right staff on your team.
I always tell my staff, you represent me. You're presenting me to the players because I can't be there all the time. And that's your job. So, I mean, that is the hardest. It's just finding good staff that can do it. And I've been lucky, and hopefully you guys have been lucky too.
Mixed luck.
Anybody else have any common problems that they ran into?
I think I run a little transient community called Derp Craft Media, and we have it's starting one of the biggest thing is keeping the experience fresh and new for your for the player base. So for us it's nice because we go where we want to go. So if people say, hey, we want to do mini games, we go out there, we go find a Hunger Games server, and we just blow it up like nobody's business. So I think it's about keeping it fresh is that starting problem for us at least.
All right. So guys, what do you think was the hardest part of running a server? Like, do you have any tips for overcoming this for our members in the audience?
I think one of the hardest parts of starting a server is building, because Minecraft is like a blank canvas type of game. And so when you start a server, you have this empty world, and it's the foundation you have to create of what you want it to look like and what to design. And my head builder, Guzini, he is amazing at creating structures that awe people to come onto the server, and people are just blown away by what he does.
So yeah, to go on in that, if you start a server, if you want to maintain a server, you want people that join your server to stay there, to be impressed by your server, and if they're impressed by what they see, they're like, whoa, what's this? They're more triggered to keep on playing. So if I try to build something specifically for the server, it never works. It never works. I build something because I like it and want to build something out of my own imagination, and then afterwards we're like, oh, might use that floating castle for a spawn or for something else. But it's more like you want to attract people's attentions to a spawn building, which is the main thing of your server, and all those things.
For me, the hardest part was just aligning what you can actually do in Minecraft. I mean, if you have programmers, you can do a lot, but Mojang kind of changes things every week and all that. So dealing with what the players want, keeping everyone happy, everyone's never always happy. You can't keep everyone happy.
That keep everyone happy circles back to me too. It's customer service. That's the biggest thing on my server. So we have a lot of people on it. At max, we'll hit maybe 2,000 people on our server, and every day we break 1,200, 1,300 people. Keeping everybody happy is the hardest part. And then circling back to the staff thing, right? Like, I find that young guys, sometimes I call it winning customer service, right? You're not trying to win customer service. If you walk away with a happy customer, you won, right? If a player feels like they got what they needed, then they won. Don't try to win an argument, try to make them happy. And if you can do that, if everyone has that mindset, if everyone feels like they've been loved up, every player on our server, then we're doing it right. But customer service, there's just so many people, and there's a lot of wants out there.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest issues, I think for at least like people who are just starting, would be that dealing with random people who come on and grief your server. I think a lot of those, with griefers, there are mods out there that can help prevent it. But like when you're running with a vanilla or a survival server, you want to keep that experience like as fresh as possible without having to like constrict a lot of activity. So I think one of those things, especially with confronting new people, especially when you hit that multiplayer and you start promoting yourself, is those random people who are just like, yeah, let me come on your server, and like, all right, now I'm gone, and now I just griefed your whole server. I think that's one of those hurdles as well for at least newer servers coming on board. So.
Yeah, my server, I feel like a boxer. There's this protect yourself at all times thing. You say, hey, random people, come on. I get thousands of randoms every day, right? They don't all love me. Some of those guys would just love to have, griefing woodycraft.net is on their trophy case, right? Hanging on the mantle. This is what I did. And, you got to be prepared for that before you launch on my server, because if I'm not, within 5 minutes, they'll find the weakness, and that's how it goes.
It's hard to, when you're first starting, you have to find the tools that almost all the servers that are big use the same tools. And so, I mean, if you can go find one and talk to us, or us even, things like LogBlock, WorldGuard, I mean, those are pretty customary on any large server. So just finding those tools is key.
Yep.
So going back to the customer service, how would you handle a player that's verbally being aggressive or stepping out of line, breaking the rules? Would you privately speak to them? Like, how would you handle it? Anyone can go.
Me again? I'm sorry, I thought you were looking at me.
We just mute them. We take them out of the channels. We ask when they. The problem is when they want to be unmuted, they want to talk again. They think they're ready, and we just ask them what they did. What did you do wrong to get in trouble in the first place? And when they tell us, if they can tell us what they did wrong, we let them back into the chat channels. It's the kids who say they did nothing. Like, we didn't mute you for nothing. We didn't punish you for no reason. So that's tough, but you deal with it.
Just me personally, whenever I'm dealing with somebody who's stepping out of line, it's always important to try and deal with them privately, because if you are dealing with somebody who's being aggressive or upset and you're dealing with them publicly, you are telling everybody else on the server how you deal with it. So it's better to handle it privately. That way you don't embarrass yourself and you're not embarrassing your players. You don't want them to feel like you're too aggressive or anything like that. You want to show people that you guys are professional and can deal with it.
I think it's best to level with them and say, hey, what's going on? What's the cause of this? And kind of just talk to them. I know the Minecraft chat can be impersonal at times, but everyone's human on there, so it's best to talk about it before that. And then if it's an issue, there's always the option to ban a player.
Yeah, that's where I was headed too. I don't do a lot of muting on my server. I do warnings and I do bans. Right? And if you don't abide by the warning, then you're out of here. Buy and unban, I can do this all day. That's how we handle it.
I think it's more about maintaining just for the other players. You're not really trying to punish the player. You're just trying to maintain the air on your server, just keep everyone else happy.
Yeah, and we have different levels of standards too. And I find players who play creative and survival. My server has all kinds of different game modes. In the game modes that are competitive, where they're sword fighting, where they're hitting each other with axes and punching and stuff, the players are more aggressive, and they tend to, talk more roughly to each other. If it's a building-oriented thing, like survival or creative, then they tend to be partnerships, and it's a loving environment. So when someone in creative is acting in a negative way, then we deal with them much more harshly than someone in, say, factions or kit PvP. If those guys are talking trash to each other, well, that's the nature of it. The same thing happens in Call of Duty, the same thing happens in Battlefield, the same thing happens in the PvP version of Minecraft. But if you're not loving in the creative and survival worlds, then we come down harshly on that quickly, because it's a different environment.
Yeah, if you find someone in your server which you know of that is like rotten and infecting other people, I mean, you want to get rid of them. You can spend a lot of time trying to repair them, trying to convince them to change their behavior. Trust me, they won't. They won't. If you find out that someone is just trolling, okay, give them a warning or whatever. It's for fun. But if they're really intent on griefing or like making your server experience less enjoyable for other players, just my advice is get rid of them.
Cancer spreads.
All right, so we definitely talked about how to handle members, but we need people to handle those members. So what qualities do you look for in a person to be part of your staff team?
Well, if you want to find staff for your server, like they said, you need someone that represents yourself. You need to trust them with the decisions they make. Make sure they know what they're supposed to do, because if you like, well, you can ban a player if you think it's needed. Well, that's a wide variety of when banning or when kicking or whatever. So make sure you have rules that everyone abides to, even your staff. My advice, get to know your staff before you give them any permissions or any ranks or how you try to solve that. Just get to know what kind of person it is and how he matches you, because he's still representing you. So be sure he won't make a fool out of you.
I think sourcing staff is like one of the key components on providing that experience for your people, and I think it takes a lot of time with regards to even you proactively looking and searching for those people, bring them onto TeamSpeak or Mumble or Ventrilo. Get to know them, and don't look at age as a barrier. Look at anything as a learning, and the fresher they are, the better they are for you, because you can mold them into what you would like them to be as a leader in your community. So,
yeah, the question was, what do I look for in staff? If I were to pick two things, it'd be patience and loyalty, right? In terms of patience, they're going to be, anytime you do customer service, the guy that you're working with is probably angry. The guy that you're working with isn't having a good day. If he was having a good day, he wouldn't need help from my staff. So you need to go in there and maybe even tolerate a little frustration until he cools down and you can make him feel better. And then loyalty, well, that's just about making Woodycraft look as good as it can look, right? Don't go telling customers that there's something you would do differently. Don't undermine what the server's trying to put forward, or set forth your own vision. Line up, and we all march in the same direction. If the staff has loyalty and patience, they're going to work out.
I think that loyalty is key. I think all too often you get players who, they'll buy a rank or they'll move up in ranks, and then they look at staff as the next rank to go up to. And it's really not. When you're staff, you're working for the server. You're not a player anymore. You are a worker. And it's a tough transition for a lot of people. They just look at it as a name or a title. So that's hard.
I think finding staff is similar kind of to dating. You got to get to know the person and know if you like them. And then, of course, be able to trust them, because having them on your server is giving them great power. And you just have to make sure everything meshes well together with the people you're choosing to help you out.
Yeah, so going to the power thing, how do you deal with people that come onto your server and say, hey, I'm part of PMC, can I please review your server and give me op?
We all laugh at them collectively.
We blow them up, we kill them, we set them on fire, we throw them off, whatever we got to do, because we've seen it hundreds of thousands of times at this point. It's crazy. There was one video that did the Planet Minecraft thing that it worked, and I think since then it's been crazy.
Yeah. If you didn't understand the question, there are people who come onto your server and say, hey, I'm from Planet Minecraft, which is a popular website. I need special permissions on your server to review this. And some silly server owners, I suspect, did that. It's a tough one to say. And, but now I think it's more of a running joke. Now if someone comes, says they're from Planet Minecraft and they want to review your server, don't be silly.
Yeah, definitely don't give anybody you don't trust power on the server, especially op. You are just going to look at a destroyed server within probably 5 minutes. All right.
If it gets broken, I got to fix it. So I'm not letting anybody have anything that they can break anything unless I know exactly who they are.
Yeah, on that note, though, like I remember you said you don't have staff because they're not players anymore. We have lower level staff that are still players. There are some powers that if you give staff, all of a sudden they can be accused of cheating, right? If you give them creative, then in factions they might build a base that's beyond what they should have had. So we have staff that can't do much more than like put people in jail. And then with that, they can help keep the server in order, but still not be a dirty player. And some people don't want to be promoted beyond that because they always want to stay a player, just a helpful one.
All right, so I think we covered a lot of how to deal with players and how to get your staff members. So let's look more at the back end of servers, like what's important. How do I start? Like, where do I go? So obviously you need someplace to host your server. So would you guys recommend like privately hosting your own server on your own computer, or would you advise using a hosting company to host your server?
I would definitely never home host. There's a lot of problems out there with people that are able to direct attacks at an IP address, and that would be bad for your internet because you wouldn't be able to connect. Finding a host is very important because you need to find somebody that's reliable and that will be able to protect your data and all your files, because that is your business basically. We actually formed a hosting company called Chunky Hosting for our server, and we sell servers and are able to provide other things for people, but that's what I use to host our server to make sure we're secure.
How about you guys down at the end? Woody, Aaron?
I think Minecraft, Mojang is coming out with the Minecraft Realms. And I think as a person who's starting out, if you're starting out and you want to create a server, get your feet wet by using Minecraft Realms. I think it's going to be rad, and no, I'm not getting paid to say that. But it's such a perfect idea because they're setting you up, and it's from the creators. So you can invest, and as parents as well of kids who want to create their servers, you want to find someone who you can trust, and your money is going to go towards bigger and better things. So by going through Minecraft Realms, you're able to circle that through. So.
Yeah, for us, you got to go with a dedicated hosting company. Like, you can't do it at home. I started big. I started with 5 Java virtual machines, and now I have, I think, 38 Java virtual machines that run roadicraft.net. And you can't do that from home. Also, we need world-class DDoS protection. When you get to the higher levels, the Minecraft server owners, they're dirty little people. They're terrible. They attack you constantly. They attack your streams. They attack your house. They attack your Minecraft servers. And you have to have a hosting company capable of protecting you. So I pay thousands of dollars every month for my DDoS protection. And if I didn't, my servers would go down every day, every single day, 13 times a day.
I think when you're starting out, you can go through a host or even Minecraft Realms, but you're always going to have issues when there's updates. Like Mojang just did an update, and the only way we were able to keep up to 1.7.3 was just by running it ourselves and keeping up with the. When you use a host, you can't put in your own jars. You can't put in your own plugins. You have to wait for them to update you for them. So you're never going to get large as a small server, but you can get started. But you really need to learn how to run a dedicated server or have someone that can do it for you, or it's never going to get big.
Yeah, definitely. If you're going to use a hosting company, you're going to need some cash. If you do it at home, you're going to need a pretty beast of a machine in order to run a Minecraft server off of it, because it's going to need it off RAM so that it doesn't crash, it doesn't lag, because members are not going to like a laggy server.
Yeah, doing it from home is how you start. Yeah, that's how you get you and your friends playing together. If you're getting into running a Minecraft server that's for strangers, that's for other people, then you start getting into quality of service issues, and you need a pro running the machine in the back end.
You probably need some money to you're going to have to buy servers. Rent them. Whatever you have to do, you're going to have to put down some money if you really want to get up there to the later stages of having players and all that.
Right. So on the topic of money, how do we get money for our server? Do you guys have a special donation system set up? Do you offer perks? What do you guys offer per your server? Because I know some of you have survival, PvP games. Woody, do you want to take it away?
Oh, yeah. So our system's complicated enough that I'd run out of time. But we have, I think, 9 donator ranks, plus a rank called peasant for you non-donators. And on top of that, sometimes there are things in-game, special commands that you can buy. Some of our games monetize really well. Others are just to get you to enjoy Minecraft and hang out on the server and do your thing. A lot of the mini games on Woodycraft don't really monetize, right? They're just there so that people have fun, so that people don't look for some other server that maybe offers it instead. And then the games like Survival and Factions, they monetize much better. We use Buycraft on the back end. Most of our purchases come from PayPal, but we also have Google Wallet. Google Wallet's pretty popular too. But yeah, in-game, people get ranks, and then mostly they like it for the daily kits, where they can get better stuff. We just had PvP. I could talk forever. The kit PvP, we just redid that so that it wasn't a pay-to-win thing. And now the higher donators get more options, but they don't necessarily get better classes, just more of them.
I think that's a good key. The pay to win. It's a tough. You need to make money. You have to have servers. We all have expenses to have these players on our servers, so we need the money. But you don't want to create a pay to. I don't like to create a pay to win situation. People will want to pay just to have a title or to go be able to do one extra thing. But you have to balance it. You can't make one guy because he give you $10. You can't make him a god on your server because you have other players that you really need to. It's not about the one guy. Even if he's going to spend a lot of money, you kind of have to balance it. And it gets tough. I mean, I need the money too, so I have to.
It's a balance, right? Because the guy who doesn't pay says, "Hey, I want an equal shot at dominating this server," and the guy who does pay says, "Hey, I deserve some sort of reward. I supported the server." So you try to keep those rewards in check so that even if it takes longer, that non-donator does have a chance. It's just a harder road.
We try to do Facebook games on our server, try to screw our players over. It's just, you got to balance it. It's tough.
And as a small community owner, basically how we get money is through, we run our website through Engine, and basically they have it tied in with donations. So it's kind of like we just funnel it through there. And it allows us to be able to have that kind of stuff already set up for us. And then, you know, we can pay for stuff that otherwise we wouldn't be able to.
All right, I see some people leaving. Just so you guys know, we are going to have a question and answer at the end of this in probably a couple minutes, so you guys will be able to ask your own questions. But last question from me, how do you guys promote your server, especially with a small budget, because I'm sure a lot of kids out there don't have a lot of money coming in?
Me again?
Anyone.
So how did I do it? I was in a unique spot, right? I had a YouTube channel with over 1 million subscribers, and I could promote it myself. But I think we're talking about people who aren't in that spot. And it's tough, right? You know, some of the ways that people promote their site is they ask for voting. If you Google Minecraft server, then there are voting sites that come up. And the sites that get the most votes show up at the top of the list. If you ask your customer base to vote for you, then that's another way people can learn about you. But really, it kind of helps the big get bigger. You know, servers like mine are dominating those lists. If you're just getting started, then you're not going to be on the front page and people aren't going to find you. You know, one neat idea, maybe find a YouTuber and hook them up with a rank or something. Like, hey, if you play here, I'll take special care of you. You know, I'll maybe let you play with invisibility so that people don't bother you. Maybe I'll set up a copy of this Sky Wars thing over. We did that for somebody. He and his friends wanted to play on my server, but they couldn't get in the same game. I said, all right, I'm giving a whitelisted copy just for you so that you and your friends can be in the same copy. And then, you know, while it was some admin work for us, the promotion we got out of it, we felt like it was worth it. So if you could maybe find someone who has a promotional platform and give them some special treatment, then that would help you a lot. And then, you know, of course, those Minecraft server lists I talk about, the voting ones, on top of that, oftentimes you can buy a spot, you know, the sponsored places. That pays off. You know, if you want to be a big server, you'll instantly have 100 people on your server all the time if you pick off one of those spots. If you have the budget for it, buying advertising works on every business everywhere, right?
Advertising is a huge, huge cost. It's almost become a larger cost than the servers that we pay for, at least personally. And it really just, month by month, we play it by ear and what we can do. For me personally, I jumped onto Google+. I don't know, a lot of people don't use it, but there were no Minecraft servers on Google+. You know, there's people on Facebook and Twitter's tons of Minecraft people. We did really well on Google, and we were the only ones. So if you can find something that you can reach people and there's not a lot of competition, you could do pretty well, and that's really how we did it.
You're not the only one anymore now. No, I just gave away your secret.
I think for marketing, especially if you're new and you're trying to jump onto it, I think grassroots marketing is pretty much the key. It's a lot of hustle, it's a lot of time, but you know, basically what you want to do is use those forums, Minecraft forums. You know, get out there. You know, go out. You know, especially if you're going to school. You know, get out there. You know, like you're doing now at MINECON. You know, come up with some flyers, pass it out. You know, because the cool thing is, like, if you can create a local community based on that, that's something that the other competition wouldn't have because they don't have that physical connection. So I think besides that, you know, doing the Minecraft forums, the voting as well. Voting's really competitive. You know, but try doing the grassroots, the one that's going to take the most effort. You know, if you have the cash, splurge. But, you know, if you're like me, definitely locate sources of people that you normally wouldn't find online and, you know, bring them onto the Minecraft. So
another thing that we hadn't talked about, if you want to keep the users that come, spend some time on your server and love them up. You know, I've talked about customer service all day today. Spend some time on there and let your customers know that, like, you're there. Whatever. On my server in Factions, one thing we do a lot is we'll put a sell sign right in your base. If you're unfamiliar with this game mode, you build like your own sort of impenetrable tower, and people may have farms. And instead of going to the shop to sell their carrots 8 at a time, which is a pain in the butt, we'll put a sign right next to your carrot farm where they can sell 64 at a time. Say multiple. It's not any difference in price, but it's convenient, and that customer service makes them sticky to your server. It makes them not want to go somewhere else because no one else is doing that for them. You know, we put sell signs in your house to help you play the game a little more conveniently. If you go in there and you love them up, then the people that you get will stay.
Kind of what Woody said. I mean, I don't get on the server and build. I spend a lot of my time talking to people, but what I do get when I log on, I'll shoot a bunch of flaming chickens in the air just to let them know I'm there, and I'll have my other staff, they make a dragon noise when they log on, so they know we're there, and they react to it. They say, oh, Mumble's on, and oh, the other one's on. They know when we come on because we let them know, and we do funny things. We blow up their houses occasionally and repair it. We interact. We don't play the game with them, but we interact with them, and they reciprocate that.
I like to hop on their shoulders.
Hop on their shoulders. We were thinking about that one, actually.
All right, guys. So now it's time for questions. So does anybody in the audience have a couple questions for us? Yeah, if you want to step up, we've got some mics over there, and then you guys can make a line and ask as many questions as we have time for.
Right. You got a question? Right here.
I know you three at the front very well. I'm an admin on the server, but you actually got me here through tickets because I couldn't have any. I just want to say thank you for that, first of all. But secondly, how is creating a bond with some of your staff members important in a server?
How is
generating a bond with your staff members? How is that important?
Oh, I definitely think it's incredibly important to bond with your staff members because you want to keep them around. Is anybody?
I think that's huge. Yeah, having staff members that are your friends, like Guzinian, Morgan, meeting them last year at MINECON, and actually being friends with them in real life has been amazing. And we have a great amount of fun together playing Minecraft and other games.
I didn't know any of my staff outside the game. And over the years, I mean, I'm dating one of my staff, but a few other staff are here. I mean, they've become my best friends, and I hadn't really, in real life, met any of them until these MineCons or what have you. So, I mean, you work together towards a goal. You're going to become friends with these people, and it's been good. I enjoy it.
Next question on this left side.
I was wondering, what's the recommended amount of dedicated RAM I should have to a server?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat your question?
Dedicated RAM to a server.
RAM.
If you're running
how much
off your
RAM?
PC.
Oh, okay.
It's dependent on plugins and players.
Yeah, this is a technical question you're asking, how much RAM? It's really dependent on how many chunks your players have loaded. If your players are spread out around your world, you might need as much as 12 or 14 gigs of RAM. If you don't have many players in your game, and therefore they can't load too many chunks at one time, then you're okay at somewhere around 1.5 or 2 gigabits.
Like around 10 players, be 1 to 2, but once you start getting up over 100, you definitely need 5, 10 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
All right, so on this side, what's your question?
Two things. Would there be plugins that could easily build, World Edit, how you can easily build structures? Would there be other plugins like that?
So, what plugins will help you build and help building go faster? Is that your question?
Well, my server, basically, I have this kind of around this castle, and it's really destroyed around it. I'm trying to clean it up, but it's really difficult because there's lava and destroyed blocks everywhere. Would there be a plugin that you guys know to clean this up?
To help clean it up? Yeah, I mean, if you use World Edit, and if you carefully look at all the commands on it, because you definitely don't want to overload your server with too many blocks, you can drain the lava away. You can, if you use log block, and if somebody griefed your castle, you can roll back what they destroyed.
If you use WorldGuard or World Edit, I'm sorry, you can regen the area if you're not concerned about you select things that aren't the structure and you just regen air. I think it's just regen, that's the command, and it'll put it like new, basically.
All right, your question on the left.
What was your biggest obstacle in administrating the servers?
I had another one.
Finding staff, hands down.
I have to agree with that. Finding staff, it's really hard. You have to find the right person. All right.
would there be like another sort of plugin user, like another sort of bucket, but is there like a bucket, but a different type of brand that could be more easier to get?
I don't know about easier, but Spigot runs better. The Spigot teams here, they just take Bucket and they modify it, and it run. If you have a larger server, I would assume most of us are running Spigot and not Bucket itself.
Okay, thank you.
What do you think about using on-server advertising as a cash source?
What, going on other people's server and?
No, putting ads on your own server. Not like ads for other servers, but there's a plugin called AdCraft that will put ads for things on your server and you get paid for it.
That's tricky. I think that with some members, or some players would find that a little annoying and might not want to stick around and see that all the time.
I think most of.
Yeah, charge them for it. Like, if you're getting ads on a server for other people, then you need to be making money off of that at the least.
I think most of us charge for perks on our servers, and that's really where we make money, so the advertising doesn't really bring in that much.
All right.
This is a question for Woody. As a YouTuber, you'll probably get a lot of load spikes when you do videos, streams, or whatever it is you do for advertisement. How exactly does your team deal with that technically? Because I run a server for a YouTuber as their lead technical developer, and dealing with load spikes is incredibly difficult. Do you have any tips that you can give?
Yeah, so at first when we streamed, I used to have 2 or 3 admins just sitting in the background handling it and watching it, right? They would sit there, they'd monitor the TPS, they'd run Butcher, they'd run Stop Lag, they'd run Clear Lag, if need be. Now we've got the servers tuned to the point where even when I stream and things get busy, that they hold up just fine. In addition to that, we have limits on how many people can join any given game mode on my thing. So unless you're a donator, you're not going to get in and make it worse than I want it to be.
All right, little man, go for it.
So when talking to players, should I use smiley faces, or is that just going to make things seem like cheesy?
I think emoticons do have a little bit of a reason. That's why they're there. I would honestly, for me, I would use it sparingly, and I wouldn't like over inundate people with smiley face, winky face, oh my gosh face type things. So take that as something.
I smile at my players. I don't care.
I mean, it's the kind of relation you want to build with them. If you want to see them as friends and they see you as a friend, then smile at them all you want. But if you want to like come over as a professional or like don't bother me too much, then take a distance.
I think smileys are fine. Just don't use a lot of hearts. You might want to avoid the hearts.
Okay. Instead of like, how do you make a server like woodycraft.net instead of like 198.24.180.something:25568? I just took random numbers there.
Is your question to have like a short IP for your server?
Yeah, like how do you make it like .net or .com?
It's called the domain name system, and it just links an address to a number. And there's plenty of services out there that'll run a DNS. We use Cloudflare just because it has a nice interface and it's free. But you buy a domain for $9.99 or $10, and then you can point it wherever you want.
Yeah, look. So GoDaddy and Namecheap, Namecheap.com they're cheap places to buy domains. And pick one you want. They'll help you find one that's not taken. Like if you want Minecraft.com, you're kind of out of luck. But there'll be something else out there that's not taken, and then it's called the A record. You have to modify that to point to it. But yeah, DNS maps those numbers that you're talking about, the IP address, to a catchy name.
Okay, thank you.
What's the IP address for Woodycraft?
I'm glad you asked. It's woodycraft.net. That's the IP address.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I'm pretty new at the whole multiplayer thing, but I've been trying to figure out how to start my own server so I can play with my friends. Do you know how to do that, or?
You can try and host it off of your own computer if it's just going to be with your friends. There's a couple of tutorials online on how to do it. But if your computer is a little old and laggy, you can probably find a free hosting site for a month. I know some people offer that, so you can get a feel of how to do it on that.
Okay.
And we're going to be outside, so if people still have more questions, we'll answer them outside for you guys.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you.
You're awesome.